Deb Cooper with the Canine Chronicle, bringing you Table Talk, and I am here with Tabatha Bettis. And Tabatha has been the main person behind the Facebook page / group, The Shows Must Go On. And Tabatha, I believe that you established this group to kind of help those clubs that may be overwhelmed and feel like they don't have the manpower, given people that are older or people that are just unable to do their regular volunteer duties, right? Because they are more vulnerable than someone else to COVID or what have you. So tell me a little bit about how you got this started and how you can help or have helped clubs get their shows going.
Okay, well, first of all, I phoned a few of the handlers to see if they were on the same page that I was a couple of months into sitting at home and doing that. And not just my friends, just anybody that I could think of, just random phone calls. How are you feeling? Do you feel safe? Would you like to go back to work? And the majority, well, actually, I don't think there was one that said no. They all wanted, they all wanted some normalcy. They wanted to do something they knew how to do. So because they were getting a lot of negativity when they were posting on other Facebook groups, I wanted to start something where we could talk amongst ourselves and come up with some ideas or maybe offer to help some of these clubs, because a lot of the clubs were saying they were canceling due to the fact that their members were older or compromised and they wouldn't be able to attend the show. And that's when I came up with this idea that, maybe we've got this group where we're talking amongst ourselves. So, and then my other point was that we needed to really find out from some of the judges if they were going to be willing to come back and work, because they're also in that age bracket. Right. And I made a few phone calls just to inquire if they might be ready. And surprising to me and kind of overwhelming to me is that a lot of them did want to come back to work and wanted to come back sooner rather than later. So knowing that we had the judges that would be able to judge the shows, because nothing was going to happen if we didn't have the people to judge. Right. We could go there if we wanted, but if there was no one to point out and put the winners up, there was no point. So basically, we got together. We saw a lot of the clubs that needed help. We tried to reach out to them. And it started off, I actually got asked by one of the kennel clubs to fill out a survey of, would I come to the show? Would I be willing to wear a mask? Would I be able to assist with this? And that's where I got this idea from the page. And I went, all right, well, it started off being professionals. But as we've got further into it, it's, if you handle dogs, if you're a breeder, if you're an owner, if you're someone's friend that comes with them and you want to offer assistance, any assistance that you want to offer, we're happy to take. And so we started to reach out to show chairs at that point. We tried to get a judges list together of people that were willing to judge for some of these first early shows. It's not as important now as it was then, because then they were really struggling to know who to contact.
But
and
you
they were probably
have a list, right? You do have a list of available judges that people can seek from you, right?
Yeah, we do, and we're happy to add anyone to it that wants to be added. Mm-hmm. The main purpose of it was there was a lot of clubs that had cancellations from people that didn't want to judge. Right. So it was something that they could quickly look at, and we tried to give them names with what they were licensed to judge. Mm-hmm. So it was something, not just a list of names. They could actually go, we need a sporting judge. Hang on, who's someone that's close that might be able to drive in rather than fly in? And it was looking at different ways to figure out the best way to use it to come out with the best outcomes for the club and be able to do it like sufficiently fast. Right. Because if they look at the AKC list, it was like, oh, I'm looking for a sporting dog judge that lives in my area. Right. Where this was like an Excel spreadsheet where they're all just listed in a line, and you could do a search on the function of sporting, and then it would list all the sporting people at the top, and then you could have a look at where they were and grab that person and ask if they were interested. And it was also going to make it an easier phone call, because they actually would consider judging. You know, we had a few that were like, I don't want to judge in New York, but I'll judge in Wyoming, you know, that kind of thing. But it was at least going to be judges that were open to the conversation rather than show chairs getting smashed by judges going, I can't believe you're going back to work. Because my concern was I wanted to take the pressure off the show chairs, because God bless them all that have started to hold their shows. They go through so much with emails and messages and everything else. And, you know, kudos to them for at least trying and holding on. And my big thing to the clubs at the time was, you don't have to promise me you're going to hold the show. I just want you to try to wait for as long as you can before you cancel it, depending on state's guidelines.
Speaking of that, when we chatted a little bit earlier, you mentioned something that I think is a really good piece of advice for these people. If they're going to turn to you for help and they're about to address the issue with their committee or their club, they should give you as much time as possible to give them as much information and ammunition as possible to demonstrate that it's doable, right?
Exactly. Because like if you reach out to me half an hour before, or to the group half an hour before a meeting, there's not a lot that we can do. Like there are show chairs on this group because we've invited show chairs, we've invited any judges that want to join. We've invited AKC people. We have somebody from each of the superintendents on there. We also have lawyers on there that could give some advice if clubs needed that as well in negotiating like their venue details and how close to the time they could cancel without getting a big fee and things.
Right.
And there's also all the rules and guidelines that Onofrio would put together, which they'd used for the Oklahoma cluster, which can be expanded and used upon because we didn't actually have any and they had to be drafted pretty much from scratch for the road shows. So it's just about getting information. So if you've got a meeting coming up in a week or so, let us know. Let us put on the list. You know, I know that the guys in Washington said, we have Washington show coming up at the end of the month. Can I get some volunteers? And the show chair posted it on the group. And there was like 20 people. I can do this. I can do this. Like even today, another volunteer saw it and posted, I'm only showing Saturday and Sunday, but I'll be there Wednesday. What do you want me to do? And they're like, we will use you for a lot of things. So just, and it's like including people that may have been too shy originally to put their hand up or go talk to a club. This is giving them also a way to reach out in their community and get to know the people in the clubs just through Facebook. And, you know, hope that will join as a member and that will extend further on down the process.
Sure.
So it was basically to get a platform where we can talk and be positive and no negativity is allowed, because I have no hesitation in deleting their post or them from the group, because there's enough of that on the other groups that this one's just looking for solutions. Like if you've got a problem, post it up there. We'll see if we can, you know, we can't everyone, but we're sure as hell going to try to help you as best we can to move forward in the safest way that we can.
Great. Okay, cool. All right. Well, everyone, the show must go on Facebook. Tabatha's the man behind the Facebook page, if you will. So don't hesitate to reach out to her in the group if you need help, either contemplating whether you're going to have your dog show or making sure that you have enough volunteers. Tabatha, thanks so much. Good luck. Be safe out there.
Thank you.
I'll see you soon. We'll see you soon. Until next time.
Bye.